What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is a two-time WWE and ECW champion. He meets Brock Lesnar at WWE Crown Jewel on Saturday, November 5th, with muscles on his body as big as the teeth from my smile. The almighty Bobby Lashley. How's it going, my man?
Hey, it's fantastic.
I'm so grateful for you doing this today, shortly before Monday Night Raw in Dallas. And I'd like to start here, for basically as long as, I mean, not basically, for as long as the WWE Universe and beyond has been exposed to Bobby Lashley, we've seen, muscles on muscles on muscles. I know you recently told Sam Roberts about a pitch you had that you gave Vince McMahon about, putting on some pounds and
Yes.
working it into a storyline. How much does that desire have to do with the fact that WWE did not let you consume these 20 cheeseburgers during your feud with Simon Dean?
Dan, you're bringing back some memories. It didn't have too much to do with that, but just with the way creative is going right now, and looking at different opportunities, and just trying to mix things up. We're trying to do different things. We're trying to push the envelope, and we're trying to bring things that are a lot more compelling on TV. So I thought that would be something I would be really interested. I think the biggest thing with that was I wanted to show people how you can kind of overcome adversities.
Mm.
And that's what it was going to be. Putting on weight would be a huge adversity to anyone. And just to be able to come back from that, I think it would be something that everybody would like to see. We're in a day and age of of there's like a lot of mental illness and depression, and people kind of down on themselves, and I'm that overly positive person all the time. So I feel that if I bring that to TV and show how no matter where you go, you can always get back to a positive place. I think that's always something good to see. So that's why I pushed it originally, because I had a lot of friends and different people around different industries and different walks of life right now that are dealing with a lot. People that are coming back from COVID, people that are coming back from losing jobs, and all kinds of different things. So I just wanted people to see that no matter where you are, you can always get back to a great place.
I love that. Look at the heart in the pitch of that story. That's listen, before we move on, I can't help. I was looking at this. Who made these cheeseburgers, dude? Like they look like they got rolled over. Kind of disrespectful.
I got at least a few of these, and they wouldn't let me touch any of them, which is which is wrong.
How many do you think you can put back in one sitting?
It depends on how big they are. If it's like a little McDonald's cheeseburger, a little small one, I'm sure I can knock back at least a good 6 or 7 of them.
I think you can do more than 6 or 7. You're a growing
But
man,
if you're
Bobby
talking about
Lashley.
like Whoppers, or if you're talking about like Whoppers or something like that, those would be a little bit more challenging.
I actually really enjoyed the pitch there. At the surface, when you see the headline, it looks kind of silly, but I like how much thought went into this. And who knows, under a new creative direction, maybe we get to it. And speaking of creative direction, for a long time, I felt like the Bobby Lashley gimmick, especially early on, was basically the physique that you see and the accolades that you had pre WWE. I think everyone really sort of fell in love with the effort that went into the almighty aesthetic and the Hurt Business. I read that the suits were very much your idea, but I was wondering who else sort of contributed to creating this package, the black and gold, the awesome visuals and graphics that go into your introduction. Who else sort of did you collaborate with on creating the almighty Bobby Lashley?
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. Originally, there was an idea that I wanted to do with myself, but then after that, I was like, no, this is not really me. This is MVP. It was a character that I wanted, and then it went from that character to I was thinking, man, if we had a group, and a group called the Hurt Business, because my old boxing coach he wore this T-shirt one time that had Hurt Business on it, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, man, I just loved it, and it just stayed with me. So when I used to train and listen to that. I was like, man, Hurt Business, that is awesome. That's awesome. So I brought that too. So the first person I was talking to was Sheldon, and I told Sheldon, I was like, man, look at this idea that I'm thinking about. And I started talking to him, and I said, let's go together and let's go pitch it to MVP and see if he'd be interested in it.
I love it. Well, and I mean, I think there is such a desire to see the
Sorry,
hurt business.
it got
That's okay.
it got super loud all of a sudden. So I said, let's go pee about it. We're to pee, and I started talking MVP about him, and then I was like, man, this is a cool idea. So originally they paired me and MVP up because I was kind of married at the time and had a lot of other things going on. So they paired me and MVP up, and then when they paired us up, we were like, of course we got to bring in Sheldon. Sheldon, I talked to Sheldon originally about it. So it was supposed to be it was that originally just me, MVP, and Sheldon. But from how we grew up and how we came up into the business, you always needed that young boy to kind of be with you. And we were
Mm.
looking at who is that guy for us. And of course, we were looking through the roster, and one of the most talented people that we thought on the roster was Cedric. And Cedric was kind of like the little brother to all of us. I know like Cedric had a little bit of each one of us in him. So, and at that point, we just put it together. So originally it was my idea. And then I had a little bit further with the Hurt business. But then after we got together, it was like a brainstorm session every Monday night
I
after
love
Raw.
that. That's amazing. Well, the best ideas in this industry, I think, come from collaboration.
Absolutely.
Um, we've got this big match coming up with Brock Lesnar, Crown Jewel. Especially in the aftermath of Gunther versus Sheamus, I think there's a bit of a reinvigoration just seeing big, strong dudes beat the everlasting crud out of one another. I know you weren't super satisfied with the Brock Lesnar match in Royal Rumble in big part due to sort of how quickly it came together. You didn't get to put in all the time to prepare for it that you wanted to. How does this rematch feel? Are you more satisfied with the build up and the lead into seeing Brock Lesnar again?
You know what? The way that I look at it, because there was so much actual lead up, because there's been years and years and years of lead up.
Mm,
Because of the way things have come together with us, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see each other. I think until the end of my career, the end of his career, there's always going to be a Bobby and Brock. Because right now I
mm,
look at the score as 1 for me, 0 for him. So if there's 2 for me and 0 for him after Crown Jewel, I'm sure he's going to be coming back for another one. He's got to avenge his losses. So I like the buildup because I think the buildup is really important because of what happened last time. Because there wasn't that real resolution to anything except me pinning him. I think
mm.
that this time is going to be a lot more hype, and I think that it's not going to be the last time. I think there's just so much more than me and Brock can actually get into. So I think that this feud is going to be a feud that's going to keep going, and it's going to keep looking different, and there's going to be a lot more involved with it. This time, I think this might be a time where I can finally put him away. But I don't think Brock's the type of person that's just gonna let somebody beat him 2 times in a row and then not even come to avenge that. So I like it, and I like the competitor he is because
Mm.
Brock doesn't care. Brock wants to fight. Brock wants to fight. Brock wants to hurt, and since he wants to, then he's got to come with it.
Well, let's get a Hall of Fame rivalry to match the Hall of Fame careers. I don't know how to segue into this next one, so I'm just going to go for it. There are quite a few royal families in wrestling. The Rhodeses. We just got another generation with The Rock's daughter making her debut in NXT. Sami Zayn, regrettably, once brought your sisters to the ring. And I just wanted to know how it feels for you to see that championship lineage continue with AEW Tag Team Champion Max Caster.
Oh God. Oh man. Oh. I don't even know what to say there. But the lineage is gonna come with my son. My son's a little banger. He's 14 years old and he's playing football right now, and he's about to start wrestling practice. So I'm looking at him. For those guys, I mean, best of luck to them. They were awesome at the time, and I know they're doing well right now. So I
For
mean,
sure.
always pull for people that have that will to do whatever it takes to make it.
For sure. I'm glad you brought up your son because I put out a Q&A and I got to shout them out for all these, for the burgers and the sisters and all that too. But people were wondering if your son is to follow in your footsteps, do you see him going into pro wrestling, MMA, both? What's your sort of prediction on that?
I told him because, and we've had a lot of talks about it, he and I told him, I said,
you can do whatever you want to do. He's an extremely athletic kid, and I think that he has a lot of possibilities to do a lot of things. So I told him, you know what, just keep working, and there's going to be some doors that open up. So whether he chooses to come to professional wrestling, I will open up every door that I can for him. But if he doesn't want to do professional wrestling, if he wants to fight, I'll make that available for him. It's my goal in life is to present and give my kids every opportunity they can to be successful. So if that's what he wants to do, then I'm going to open up the doors for him.
I had read recently, actually, I think Kurt Angle brought it up on his podcast, that around 2015, he was sort of going through a rough stretch in terms of how he felt he was performing and that he was contemplating retirement. And what had actually sort of moved him away from that was a 2015 world title match in TNA against you. And he won that match. He said it was such a great match for him. It's one that he remembers very fondly. I wanted to get your thoughts on, I don't know if you were aware of this, that match you and Kurt had was actually one of the things that sort of encouraged him to continue at a time where he was really doubting himself.
Damn, that is awesome. And a huge compliment. Kurt was the one that kind of opened the doors and got me into professional wrestling from the beginning. So I've always had a huge amount of respect and admiration for Kurt. So the fact that he said that, it really is a huge deal for me. But at the same time, you know what? It's Kurt Angle, man. Kurt Angle, I believe he's one of the best in this business. And the fact that I was able to give him that birth or that mindset to be able to train and want to keep going, that is a huge compliment, a huge blessing, and a huge amount of respect to me.
I love it. All right, last thing, Lashley, before I let you go, I want to top and tail this a bit. Let's say, now we put it back out there, that we do get that angle that you pitched a little while back, and we do see Bobby Lashley go through a physical transformation, I guess a couple of times technically. Give me the Lashley eating guide to putting on 50 pounds for a pro wrestling.
I don't think it's not necessarily a weight issue, and it's not really a physical transformation. I think it's a mental transformation. We go through a lot in our lives, and sometimes it is a physical transformation that brings people down, but a lot of times it's a mental transformation that they need to get over, and that's the biggest thing with it. So as far as just eating and changing everything, I think the biggest thing for me is just not going to the gym on a regular basis. That would be the hardest thing for me, because it would be a mental struggle to be able to do that. As far as eating, I eat everything already right now. So I think that if I just stayed out of the gym, the weight would come on or come off. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if I would get skinny fat or if I would get really fat. But I think it's just the mental aspect of overcoming adversity. I talk to my kids about this on a regular basis. So if it's staying out of the gym, which I always put as my gym therapy, that would be the hardest thing to come back from. It's just what do I do, and how do I get back? So as far as just eating and putting on the weight, my diet's crazy. I love cookies. I love cheeseburgers, like we just talked about. So I think my eating habits would stay the same. And I think just the fact that I'm not in the gym, it would just give me more time to eat more food. So that's all it would be.
Can I ask what your caloric intake is, if you'd be willing to share?
I have no clue. A lot of these guys, they keep their little meals around with them and everything like that. They eat 10 meals a day or 6 meals a day or whatever it is. I don't look at any of that. The only thing that I stay consistent with is my breakfast. And breakfast, I eat probably about 6 to 10 eggs, and then a cup of oatmeal, and some bananas and blueberries, and then some turkey sausage. I think that's pretty much what I eat for breakfast every morning.
Shout out to WWE's catering team.
Yes, sir.
For all the work they're putting in. Lashley, this has been so much fun. I want to leave you with the last word, so I'll do my part very, very quickly. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you're still here, you know what you got to do. Tap the notification bell, subscribe, thumbs up. Let us know, what is your official prediction for Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WWE Crown Jewel on Saturday, November 5th. Full feature on CBSSports.com with Bobby Lashley in the description of this video. Bobby, if there's anything you want to let the people know, the floor is yours.
Oh, man, I'm a fighter, and I've been training my ass off for this one. So trust me, this is going to be the one to see.